Said a dog is man's best friend, but even that may sound like an understatement to Iraqi vet Alan Hill.
The Ottawa, Kansas man has a service dog like no other. Fox 4's Rob Lowe joins us with the story of Frankie and Alan.
Susan, you've heard of dogs for the blind and helper dogs used in hospitals and schools, but Frankie has been trained to help Sergeant Alan Hill with his post-traumatic stress disorder. How's that even possible, you ask? Just watch. We first met Iraq War vet Alan Hill and his wife Gina while they were visiting Alan's psychologist.
This is something I can do without, upsetting the whole family.
Alan suffers from the most extreme case of post-traumatic stress disorder Dr. Larry Nieders has ever seen.
Let's just see what the effects are.
Sitting next to Sergeant Alan Hill is Frankie, a specially trained service dog.
Frankie's with him 24/7.
Her work doesn't end when the therapy session is over.
Thanksgiving Eve of 2007, I was involved in an IED blast on Route Tampa in Iraq.
And that really changed everything for you.
That changed my life forever.
And now Frankie's changing it again.
Frankie is changing it again.
Is that she's not here to alert him to danger. He is so over-focused on his environment that he's very, very alert anyway. And what she's here for is to help him stay grounded here and now, like that. There's a tornado siren, practice siren going off. Those are the sirens that he would hear in Iraq. And basically, his whole nervous system gets hijacked. And he's no longer here psychologically. He's back someplace else where there's danger.
Sure enough, we find Alan outside in a trance. And there is Frankie to bring Alan back to reality. But when an airplane flies by, Frankie senses his drift and jumps again. Kisses from Frankie bring Alan back to the present.
Kisses. Good kisses. Ready to go? Ready to go? Come on.
All clear?
Stop.
Can you talk to me about what you were feeling or what you remember when those sirens went off?
Usually when the sirens would go off, we would be in the middle of getting shelled or rocketed or mortared or something.
It's like I see his body and mind struggling to he knows in his head that he's here, but everything in his body is telling him it's danger. She's grounding him. It's hard to keep your mind in Iraq when you have a dog jumping on you or licking you or whatever.
She does what she has to do to get me to, pay attention to her and come back to the present and realize that all is well.
What Frankie can't do for Alan is drive him around. He gave up the wheel 4 years ago because even on the highway, there are triggers that bring about his PTSD.
Hey.
Alan's symptoms get better if he's engaged. Just ask him about his Dallas Cowboys.
He passed for almost 2,000 yards. I'm like, wow.
But when the car approaches a bridge,
A lot of times we'll see a police officer standing up there taking radar, and as we drive under, that's a big trigger for him because in Iraq they throw things off the bridges at them as they pass underneath.
there are so many possible triggers that Alan's decided to bring Frankie to visit the campus of Ottawa University. Together, Frankie and Alan will start classes in the spring.
To give both of us a feel for the people and places and things that could, be a trigger.
Fireworks at a campus football game would be one obvious trigger. Today, though, no triggers, just a new college sweatshirt.
Once you put that on, you are an OU student.
Nice. I dig this. All official.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks to Frankie, Alan plans to attend school without his wife having to be nearby.
Glad to have you.
Thanks. Before Frankie, I isolated and I shut myself off from the world. Since Frankie, I've been an active participant in my life.
Because of Frankie, simple things most of us take for granted are now possible again.
He couldn't go outside at our old house and get the mail.
We should mention the Hills have a new house now, as in brand new house, built by the team from TV's Extreme Makeover. The home was built with triple pane windows and soundproof sheetrock.
See, that doesn't sound hollow.
Alan can't hear the howling wind or rain.
They do a really good job in keeping the noise down.
And if he still needs to get away, he has his own quiet room.
That's where me and Frankie hang out. I'll put on one of my scenescapes, and I'll just lean back in my chair and listen to the birds.
And Frankie has a bed right next to him.
Frankie's my girl. I mean, she's with me all day, every day.
The builders didn't forget Frankie. She has her own grooming room.
Her own bathtub with shower. I have all the soap and stuff that I'll ever need.
Frankie's content as long as she is wherever Alan is.
A couple of weeks ago, he got out and taught our youngest how to ride a bike with no training wheels.
Pedal, pedal, pedal.
And Frankie was right there with him. Like all my pictures, Frankie's right there running behind him. And it's just really cool to see them all interact. I knew there was potential for her to make a huge difference in his life to the extent that she has known.
Sweet.
It's pretty exciting when you think about where he was and where he is now. And
she's helping me get back to my old self.
A true hero, recovering with help from his four-legged hero. Now, Frankie came to Sergeant Alan Hill through a prison program called Puppies Behind Bars. Inmates spent months training her so that by the time Alan got her, she already knew 80 commands. Rob Lowe, Fox 4 News, working for you.